Well, Ken, you have a couple of days earlier on in the week to effectively take stock after the 46 game season. Then the players start to focus on what other managers in playoffs I've heard describe as, a new mini season of 4 teams. Is that the way you look at it?
Yeah, you have to look forward, make sure you don't look back, which is great, to be at this stage of the season and still have a chance. We're very proud of what we've done this year. Whoever you're going to play in League One playoffs, you're going to be tough games because the standard's high this year. But we're looking forward to the challenge, and that's exactly what it is, a big challenge.
A little different from last year. Last year, you finished 5th and you were playing the biggest team in the playoffs, and people were saying, well, Millwall are the underdogs. This year, by virtue of your league position, if not perhaps the spending power, people say, well, Millwall are the favourites to go through. Does that make any odds?
Well, it's nice that people regard us like that, and people have spoke very well of us, and that's testament to the players for what they've done over the last 2 seasons. I'm looking at Huddersfield, and outside of Southampton, they're by far the biggest spenders in the league. Yes, it is going to be tricky, and they've beaten us there recently, albeit 1-0, where I don't think we played our best up there, but we went down fighting, and in the second half we did put some pressure on them without, I don't think, playing particularly well. I'm looking for a better performance than we put on at the Gal Farm last time a month ago, but it will be difficult and it will be tight, and I'm sure it'll be a great game.
For the 6th time, Millwall sought to win promotion via the playoffs. The previous 5 occasions had all ended in failure, and Millwall would start this time round at the Gal Farm Stadium, Huddersfield, where they'd been beaten just a month earlier in the league. How much would the painful defeat from 12 months previously inspire this Lions side to make Millwall history?
In by Craig, and the header was by Steve Morrison. Morrison, who was involved in a non-league playoff semi-final last year with Stevenage, as indeed was his opposite number, Lee Novak, who was playing for Gateshead in the Blue Square North playoff. They did eventually win the final, Novak himself having scored in the semi-final against Southport. Here's Drinkwater. Roberts did well to bring that under control. It took a deflection that off Smith, made it awkward for the goalkeeper. And David Ford, who had an awkward moment with a corner here in the league game last month, did well to reach that because it just took a touch off Jack Smith, which made it difficult for him.
That's exactly what I was talking about. When Huddersfield get the ball into wide areas, here they are with Gary Robertson. He's right-footed, actually he can play with his left as well, and that's a wicked ball. It doesn't touch the keeper, does superbly well, and then Millwall managed just to smuggle the ball away. But Millwall will struggle if they allow the Huddersfield wide players to get on the ball and supply crosses like that.
Harris, who's back in the side today, was among their scorers that day. Steve Morrison actually got his first for the club that day. Looking towards Morrison, away though by Peter Clark. Here's Laird. Smith. Morrison. And Smith has got into a decent position to cross. It's away by Peter Clark.
There's a fixture of the league game here, actually. Jack Smith looking to break forward from right back. Modern fullbacks, very important they get forward, and he'll continue to try and provide crosses.
And it's come here to Jack Smith. Neat layoff it was. Was that a handball? Big appeal. Well, Scott Barron then was absolutely convinced then that his shot struck a Huddersfield hand. Touched by Trotter. Ward having to be careful there, losing out on the bounce to Novak. You can see Rhodes getting forward, but released it early.
Just that final ball, the quality not there, but they are willing to chase the ball down. A bit ponderous at the back from Millwall. Very nearly paid a heavy price.
Well, one back by Tom Clark, slipped through by Roberts. Chance on here for Novak. Beautifully slid across, and Rhodes somehow blazed it over.
There's a fantastic covering tackle here in the end. The question marks about the offside. The linesman doesn't give it. He gets his head up and plays a wonderful square ball. Surely Huddersfield are going to score, but what a tackle And the centre-half coming back on the cover there, doesn't give the ball up. And that is a timely intervention, that saves a certain goal.
Now Ford will have to be on his mettle against a Huddersfield free kick. Neil Harris is trying to help out with the positioning of the wall. Having done that, he's now moved away. It's Drinkwater! Tried to catch the goalkeeper off guard, but he got across.
Well, it's a decent effort. There's not an awful lot of pace on the ball. That just gives David Ford a chance to get across. It looks a very good save, but Drinkwater working the keeper at least.
Kept in by Roberts. Cleared by Paul Robinson. Harris trying to manoeuvre it away from Roberts, who stuck to his task well, but Barron in there to follow up. And he's done well to get away here. Barron, great run, trip this time, was it? No. Yet again, Scott Barron denied a penalty.
Well, the first one was clear-cut. A good look at this one now as the tackle comes in on the next, keeps on his feet to Scott Barron. To me, I'm not sure whether he goes to ground a little bit too easily. The referee in a great position again, twists and turns. There is a clip actually, Peter Clark. Again, it's Peter Clark, he clips at Scott Barron. That looks a stonewall penalty, no wonder Kenny Jackett is furious.
Well, twice now Clark has got away with it, and on both occasions up against Scott Barron, and on both occasions the referee seemed to be in a reasonable position to judge.
Absolutely, it's down to the referee, and you can see Neil Harris is saying why on earth has that not been given, but Barron again, he's having his save. It's just that little shake of the hips from Scott Barron. He went away from Peter Clark. He just cuts inside there. There's the clip, that left foot of Peter Clark. That's a penalty. It's a great positive run, driving run into the penalty area, commits defenders. And the referee, you can see him there in the shot. He's got a great view. How on earth he's not given that, I'll never know.
I feel it's half-time. Tight game, two good teams, very competitive. Both sides seem today to know a lot about each other and cancelled out a little bit. I felt that we defended well and showed good spirit. We perhaps could have done a little bit better going forward, but when you consider the people that we have out who can make a difference in those areas, you know, the lads did very well.
I imagine that before the game you wouldn't have been too disappointed with 0-0.
No, you're right. I mean, we're still in it, and you know, we need a really big home performance now on Tuesday night to get through.
Yeah, it was a big away performance from us. We knew that it was going to be tough coming here. Huddersfield have been very good at home, and you know, come to attack you, and you know what to expect. So you know, it was important that the boys stayed strong. You know, we put in a big Millwall away day performance, and like I say, all it is, it's all to play for now. It's all on one game at the Den, so you know, we take home advantage, but it's still all to play for. So you know, we're not taking anything for granted.
The fans, from their point of view, obviously quite a few of them travelled up here today, and again, fantastic support, and it all bodes well for that return trip back to the Den.
Yeah, as ever, they made a lot of noise, and you know, really drove us on to the draw today. So delighted with the fans, and you know, by the end it's great to see them happy, and you know, it's everything rolls on to Tuesday night now, where we need a big performance to bring the fans into play again.
Barron going short to Harris with a free kick. Robinson had come forward from the back for it, and he's still in the area. Harris looking to make something of it, and Robinson not very far away for applying the touch.
It's been noticeable in the early stages. Millwall very keen to get that ball into the penalty area. You can see Harris, the only thought in his mind is whip it into the danger zone. He's unlucky there with the touch. Paul Robinson, that could easily have sneaked in at the far post.
Home advantage has generally told in matches in this division when the first leg was drawn. In 23, the home team in the second leg has prevailed 17 times. Harris. Do looking to hit one! And Smith has had to turn it away.
He certainly seemed to strike a Huddersfield defender. It's maybe Peter Clark. It's a spinning ball. Abdu strikes it. Oh, it comes off Morrison. That really should be a corner.
Novak. Smith. Kay. Here's Pilkington, only roads up ahead, moving out to his right. Charged down by Robinson. Novak has a go. Ford unable to draw that one in, had to turn it round.
There's a lot of space for Pilkington to break into here. This is the first shot. Comes back to Novak, spinning ball again. The keeper really just got his angle slightly wrong. They didn't need to make the save.
Been occasions when Ford has looked a little suspect from corners. He certainly did in the league game at Huddersfield, when he conceded the only goal of the game to Peter Clark, who is in the area for this. It's Pilkington who takes, and Ford did make a bit of a meal of that, but he got it in the end.
And at times he does look a little bit nervous. One of those goalkeepers, to me, always thinks he should come for everything. At times you can't really, should be catching that. You punch that down onto the back of somebody and it could end up going back behind you and into the net.
Schofield. Jack Smith. Left it short for Trotter, and Drinkwater nipped in. It's Craig. Harris looking for the free kick, but it's fallen here for Schofield to pull it across. Morrison! 1-0 Millwall! And the man who has a special relationship with Wembley, where he's twice scored in wins for Stevenage, may well have Millwall heading there.
Got to credit Danny Schofield here as well. As the ball's played forward, Neil Harris goes to ground and everybody else seems to stop. The Huddersfield defence seems to stop, expecting maybe the free kick to be given. Not sure about the goalkeeper here, Smithies. It does bobble up a little bit, but it's poor goalkeeping for me. Should really be handling that, not parrying it. And if it falls, what, 6-7 yards out, Steve Morrison's not going to miss from there. And Millwall, that is a crucial goal in this game. But the goalkeeper really will not be happy with his contribution.
Well, Saturday's result was Huddersfield's first scoreless draw since February at Brighton. It's been even longer since Millwall had been involved in one. The end of September against Yeovil. Tonight was never likely to be another scoreless encounter. Although even if it was, we'd have a decision one way or the other. Here's Roberts. The onus is on Huddersfield now. Pilkington with the ball across, and Ford has to tip it over.
The ball, to me, just I think took a little touch off the left back Tony Craig here. It's an excellent attempt from Pilkington. Good positive work from Huddersfield. Just a little deflection takes it towards his goal. David Ford does very well to react quickly and tip that over the crossbar.
Drinkwater got forward for the throw-in, but couldn't connect with it. Anthony Kay floats it up for him, cleared by Robinson. Rhodes, as he caught by a stray boot from Robinson. Smith. And Morrison there to it first, and gallops onto the loose ball. Schofield's free, and Smith arrived and hits it wide.
End-to-end stuff. Great work against Steve Morrison. He's a goal scorer, but he's a creator as well, and doesn't give up a lost cause, gets his head up. Surprised to see Jack Smith, the right back, breaking forward, and he'll be disappointed there if he wraps his foot around that a little bit more. Sends it past the keeper's right hand. It's 2-0.
Well, he's only scored once for the club since his arrival from Swindon, who released him a year ago. Huddersfield fans wondering if their season will end here. While the Millwall fans trying to be not too premature in their celebrations of a Wembley visit.
As we saw at the Valley last night, though, Robbers, it doesn't take much for a game to really turn on its head.
Here's Barron. Schofield. Morrison. And Barron's got into a good position here, and he's hit the woodwork. Smith. Well, he must have thought then that he finished Huddersfield off.
That's the first real meaningful chance for Millwall in the second half. Great footwork again from Scott Barron to get into the danger area. He uses his right foot this time, and very unlucky with his shot. The Huddersfield defenders are very nervy when Scott Barron's in possession. We saw it in the first leg. He can twist and turn with the ball at his feet, does brilliantly to get into the danger area. Goes for the near post. So unlucky. Into the final 10 minutes, and Millwall really turning up the pressure now. They're looking to get this game finished off.
Smith. Harris winning a corner out of Danny Drinkwater. Well, they are almost there. But at 1-0, the lead very precarious, and how they would love the comfort of a second goal.
I'm sure they all watched the Swindon-Charlton game last night. They'll be taking nothing for granted just yet.
It's Barron's corner. Robinson! And surely that is it! The captain coming up with a goal that surely now means for the second year running, Millwall will be in the playoff final at Wembley.
Oh, you would feel this has to be the killer blow. It's a decent ball in, but it's an excellent header from Paul Robinson. He climbs so well in between two Huddersfield defenders to power that ball past Alex Smithies in the Huddersfield goal. You'd have to think now that's got to be enough. A 2-goal lead with 7 or 8 minutes left to play surely is enough for Millwall. That is a terrific header.
Well, you can see the delight all around on the pitch and off it. And they will be hoping for a better finale this year on May the 29th. Alexander straight into the thick of it and has a go from the angle. Well, he's claiming the touch, but no corner given.
It's the perfect time to come on, isn't it? Your team 2-0 up, only a couple of minutes left to play. You might as well take a chance, and very tight angle. Just smashes it goalwards, and there was a touch there. It should have been a corner. Really, they've just had no luck in this game. They've not played particularly well, and I think even Lee Clark will say that his team is not performing well. Probably deservedly beaten by Millwall.
Final whistle's coming. Second year running. Kenny Jackett's side, who lost the final last year to Scunthorpe, will have the opportunity to make amends this season, and that's thanks to Paul Robinson, their captain, and Steve Morrison, a goal in each half. Jubilant fans flood the pitch on a night when they've put the hangover of last season behind them and ensured that they will be back.
Yeah, the job is half done. They've got a huge game, of course, at Wembley against Swindon. That should be a cracker, but they really were very affected tonight. No more so than Steve Morrison. There's been mobbed by the home fans. Superb performance by Millwall. They deserve to get to Wembley. Can they go all the way into the Championship?
Well, firstly, Robbo, I'd just like to say thank you for making sure that the last 8 minutes weren't quite as nerve-wracking as it looks as though it was going to be. You must have felt equally relieved there.
Yeah, I think so. To be honest, I didn't look at the clock in the second half. I didn't want to look at the time. I just wanted to keep going, keep concentrating, and defending. And I didn't want to look at the clock. But like I say, when I headed that one in, I allowed myself a little glance, and it was nice to see that 82 minutes had gone. And like you say, it was a bit more comfortable than perhaps it would have been at just the one goal.
It was an excellent performance, and I've got to first off congratulate all the crowd, because it's the best atmosphere I've experienced in 2.5 years at the Den, and reminded me of old times. And it was a special night. I'm very pleased with the players. They put up their part of the bargain, which is put on a good performance, bring the crowd into play, and obviously then everything followed through.
Took us through the game as you saw it. I mean, you started off brightly, and then just Huddersfield had come back into it, and then you scored, which was key.
It was key, and you know, Morrison's had a good season for us and got some absolutely vital goals, and that first one tonight was vital.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was in the right place at the right time and set us on our way. We needed the goal to settle everyone down and to raise the crowd, and yeah, it's fantastic to be back at Wembley.
Hard work though, wasn't it?
Yeah, very hard work. I was shattered. I was looking over the bench thinking, please take me off, I'm that good. But no, it's brilliant to be on there at the end when all the fans come on, and it shows how much it means to everybody.
Now, what about Wembley? You've not really had time to think about it. You've played there a couple of times before and you've scored there. But as I said at the beginning, you know, there's a lot more riding on this. With all due respect to, you know, to Stevenage, you know, this is a chance for yourself and for everybody else to get into the Championship and really go up another level.
Yeah, this is fantastic. This is without doubt the biggest game of my life coming up, and yeah, I've been there twice before. I've had the privilege to lead a team out there, and I've scored twice and won twice, and I more than anyone want to make that 3 out of 3. So yeah, I just can't wait, and it's going to be a massive game for the club, and I think the club will come out in full force like they did last year.
Yeah, that's right. It did hurt last year to be, you know, someone watching on. You know, I did manage to get myself fit enough just to be on the bench, but you know, this year I'm pleased to have played an integral part, and you know, to lead the lads out of Wembley, stuff you dream of, and you know, we'll be there to win it, and that'll be our aim. But you know, it'd be great to captain the lads at Wembley. It'd be fantastic. You
remember the heartbreak of last May, so do most of your players. Can you use that as a means to galvanise them to go that one step further against Swindon Town?
Yeah, we can, you know, and we've all just said in there, congratulations tonight and well done, but we've done half the job, we've got halfway through.
And what about Swindon Town?
Yeah, it'll be a tough game, you know. They've shown in the two ties against Swindon, against Charlton rather, and just throughout the course of the season, they're a dangerous team. They've got a potent strike force as well. Again, another one that will be trying our hardest to keep quiet, and you know, they're a tough team and they'll be looking to it. But like I say, we'll just be worried about us. We'll be going there doubly determined to make up for last year and get ourselves in the Championship.
And here's a chance, it could be Scunthorpe United are ahead. Alexander tries an instinctive volley, oh what a goal that is! Martin plays this one, Alexander again, that's 2! Dr. Hooper, but Sparrow with a wonderful opportunity, surely must equalise, and does! Hackett raiding, good looking ball in, Alexander! Oh, how did he miss that one for the hat-trick? Sparrow plays it back in there, Hayes' shot was blocked, Wolfern, yes! Scunthorpe United lead by 3-2. Can Millwall pull this round again in this Topsy Derby game? Harris! Flagstone down to a topsy-turvy dramatic game, one of the best playoff finals you will ever see. Ends with Scunthorpe going back to the second tier, and poor Gary Alexander, who scored a quite breathtaking goal, then another one, but missed an absolute sitter. It's heartbreak for him, and you feel so sorry for Millwall and all their supporters here.
Into the penalty area, he tries a spectacular one! Oh! What a screamer from Neil Harris! Harris looking for the free kick, but it's fallen here for Schofield to pull it across. Morrison! 1-0 Millwall! It's Barron's corner, Robinson! And surely that is it!
Set to go here, feel the nerves in the Wembley tunnel.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome Millwall and Swindon Town.
Players on the way, and 4 of the starting lineup for Millwall featured last year when they were 20 minutes from promotion until Scunthorpe hit them with 2 late goals. They're determined to get it right this time around. They feel they will be strengthened by that bitter experience of a year ago. Great crowd here, fantastic support for both clubs. A crowd, I would think, pushing close to 70,000, which is amazing really for the 3rd tier of English football. The prize, of course, is the Championship next season. Swindon was 16-1 to be promoted at the start of the season. Some of the bookies had them as 5-2, close to being favourites to go down into the basement. They never lose at Wembley, Swindon, and Millwall so far have never won here, but all those records are due to be changed sometime. Millwall know that, they believe that. Players being introduced to Greg Clark, chairman of the Football League, Nick Robinson from the Football League sponsors Coca-Cola, and a nice touch to Private Stephen Weller from 19 Tank Transporters, all part of the Football League's support of Help for Heroes. Kenny Jackett there, I wonder what's going through his mind. Swindon, you'll notice, not wearing their usual strip of red. The players and the manager chose to wear this all-white kit today. Nothing to do with the possibility of heat. There's certainly none of that. It's a rainy day. They just rather like the strip. It's as simple as that, apparently. Will it be a lucky one? Tremendous win for Swindon at the Valley when they looked down and out, really down to 10 men. But Kenny Jackett here, he's done a great job, hasn't he, with Millwall, 2 seasons running. He may feel that he's paid his dues and is going to have a good story to tell this evening. Let's see. Swindon paid £15,000, which could rise to 50, I'm told, for him, and he's cracked in 20 goals for them in the Football League. He'd never seen the Football League before. He's gone up 6 divisions, this fellow.
Well, I can certainly empathise with that. He cost 13,000 quid more than me when I signed from Longheat United a long time ago. But he's just taken to it like a duck to water. He's hungry for it. That's the same with Morrison.
Let's get it right this time. I'm sure that's what the Millwall players are saying in that huddle. They've got one man in there who did get it right last time, Liam Trotter, who was in the Scunthorpe side, who beat them last time. There he is, number 40 on the right of your picture. I think his banter about that game with the Millwall lad since he's arrived on loan from Ipswich hasn't gone down particularly well.
A big wind-up moment, I'm sure.
Millwall wearing their usual blue kit, a change strip for Swindon by choice of all white today, even though their fans, of course, are bedecked in the club's usual red.
I'll tell you what, they can wear pink with yellow spots. Look like Mr. Blobby if they win this game, the fans won't mind at all.
Absolutely. Barron pushed a right back today. Outside to Bat, who's been brought into the side, I'm told, for his pace. We wondered if he might be replacing Neil Harris in attack today, but with Jack Smith injured, there's been a reshuffle. Bat starts on the right. He could switch with Schofield, who switched to the left today, having played on the right in the semi-final win over Huddersfield Town. 6 minutes gone. Millwall were behind last year by this time. Now the cross is well grabbed by Ford. It's Ward who is making the run down the left-hand side. A young man from Bolton Wanderers. He's on loan. Fancies himself to get a chance in the Premier League next season. Could be his last game for Swindon, but he's scored in the last 4 games for them.
He scored that vital goal, didn't he? Charlton took it very, very coolly indeed.
We're okay this time. Good movement from Harris. Well, he goes alone. He had Schofield in acres of space there, Harris.
Yeah, he tried to catch the goalkeeper unawares. Everybody thought he was going to cross it.
gets in a really good area. And it's played, oh, that's very close again, so tight. And you see he's got options in the box, checks and goes for the audacious, but he's got a lot of really good options further up that far post.
Here comes the Millwall corner kick. Very strong side, Millwall. Huddersfield couldn't really make too much of them in the semi-final. Here's Schofield. Had problems keeping their wide men fit just lately, Millwall. They're glad to have Schofield back in action. Oh, the shot was missed by Robinson, who stayed forward from the back there. Little flick on by him. Harris was looking to pick up the pieces. Not this time.
Well, he's furious, he's convinced it was a corner. But again, it's good pressure. They win the ball, they get the second ball. Total miss kick there. They don't defend it very well, Swindon. And again, the header's won. A little flick here, nobody picks him up, and he didn't look to come off Harris, but he was straight away pointing for the corner. There he gets it. Little deflection there, difficult for the linesman and the referee to give it any other way there.
Morrison, lovely little flick on with the head to Harris. And those two linking well, almost a telepathic understanding. Sheehan gets it away. It might have fallen for Schofield. The flag's gone up anyway.
I think it might have been for a push in the back there. But again, you see the combination of Morrison and Harris. Oh, there's Harris as well. Just reverses it. Doesn't try to pick anybody out. Just puts it in a really good area. And there, the assistant sees a little clip there. Flag goes straight up.
Darren Moore with the header away for Millwall. We're asking most of the questions. Schofield in behind. Morrison, can he get the shot away? It's a chip. It's a glorious looking chip, but it's just too high.
Well, what a fantastic effort this is. It really is. Non-league, dear me. This is full of class, full of invention. Stays on side really well. Thinks he's going to go across the keeper. No. Sees him off his line. Tries to chip him. I think this is the right thing to do. It's a cute angle, and you see Lucas isn't sure, is he? Just lands on top of his net. That's really quality class play from Morrison.
Here's Sheehan. Good looking ball in, that one. Nobody was really sure where that one was ending up as well, and Jean-Francois come forward from the back.
When it's whipped in with this quality, this pace, very difficult to defend and very difficult to attack sometimes, as we saw there. There's too much on it. Jean-Francois just couldn't get that outstretched leg to make contact, and he thinks, well, it's close, it's not close enough.
Here comes the Millwall corner. Robinson's forward. He scored with a header in the semi against Huddersfield Town. It's not going to reach him. Douglas got in the way for Swindon. Goalkeeper's come, he's got to win that, and he's only just about got it. Was he fouled? It claims he was.
Well, they all claim they're fouled. Can't go near them. He comes a really long way out here. There's no foul there. He had to go for that, Harris, and just luckily, look at that, bounces back into his arms. I'm always a bit dubious about goalkeepers coming that far and trying to claim it. Lucky enough to play at Wembley against the Wolves side when Peter Shilton came a long way and we conceded. It's the first shot in anger, isn't it, from Swindon? Haven't got a problem with this either. Not been involved in the game. It's not a good shot, but it's worth an attempt.
He's backed. Trotters in there. It's an own goal from Amankwa, but the flag is up. The flag is up here. It is not going to count. Millwall protest. It won't matter. And what a relief that is for Kevin Amankwa.
How's your look? How is your look? The assistant's flag went straight up, and it's been up quite a few times in this first half so far. And there's the ball laid out. Again, Harris involved, lays it off. And there's the ball coming in, and there, offside.
There's the own goal. It's a cracking header, but there's the flag straight up, and the ball's played in. He's in an offside position.
Goalkeeper knows about these playoff finals. He won with Sheffield Wednesday, lost with Preston against Bolton. Ferry here. Now Sheehan, almost invited to shoot, and does so.
Well, we've already waxed lyrical about that left foot of his. You can't afford to back off like Millwall did there and allow him time to go into that space and get his shot away. Look, nobody comes towards him, settles himself, again goes for too much power.
There's one option they have is switching young Ward up top, up front, and trying to give them a little more pace and movement on that night anyway.
Looked impressive, didn't he?
Now, something for Millwall maybe here. Morrison will take the corner.
Problem he tried to pull it back was that Harris had gone into an offside position, didn't want to play it across the goal. Pressure on the goalkeeper, Lucas went in front.
Ball goes a long way towards Morrison. He didn't get the head on it. It's another corner.
It's just pressure, 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 isn't it, at the moment? So far they've dealt with it. How much longer can they do it if it's this intense? And there we tell the story again. Nothing for Swindon. Well on top.
There's the corner kick. It goes a long way in there, and surely a goal. It is by Robinson. He did it in the semi-final. Now he's done it in the final, and Millwall ahead with one of their longest-serving stalwarts, Paul Robinson.
Well, we said how much longer can they hold out with this sort of pressure? Not very long. This is where they've been strong. That ball's delivered in there. They've won most of the balls in the air. This time they don't win it, but Robinson's on hand. It was a flick off a Swindon head here. There, doesn't matter. The quality was that good. And Robinson, well, look at this for a finish. There, doesn't come off a Millwall head. He gets a bit of luck, hits its midriff. He's in the right place, right time. Gets luck. That's not luck. Still has to finish it. Finishes it with aplomb, just like a striker. But they deserve it. The pressure's been intense. And Swindon have struggled to cope with it, and this time the bridge is breached.
Here's Sheehan for Swindon. Douglas. Now Ward. And if there'll come a point where they might switch him into a striker's role, Ward. Douglas. This is better from Swindon at the start of the half. Much more like it. McGovern. Nice movement. Ferry's there. And Ward was there too, and Robinson nicked it away.
You can just hear the Swindon fans feeling that, can't you? And that move started progressing. Swindon fans realised their team hadn't come out better this second half.
Well, Abdu making a run from the midfield with that.
It's brilliant defending. It really is. Intense pressure there, Cuthbert, but stuck to his task superbly.
Sheehan chips it forward. Charlie Austin, can he get on the end of this? Well, Millwall in the shape of Darren Ward were able to clear their lines, but there's a different mood now.
There certainly is. We've just seen one superb bit of defending from Cuthbert and one there from Ward. Both important interceptions early in this second half.
Painter, good little knock on that one. One for Morrison to chase. Up against Cuthbert. It's Morrison. Good burst of pace.
Well, again, you've got to admire Cuthbert. Desire to stay on his feet. That was terrific from Morrison. You watch when he picks this ball up. One thing in his mind, I am going to get in that box. There, the acceleration, he does get in the box. One touch there allows Cuthbert just to get that challenge in.
Good work by the defender there.
He's done that twice in this second half. Timed his tackle perfectly.
It's the Millwall corner. Morrison! Scrambled away by Swindon Town.
Again, the quality that's coming in the Swindon box is causing all sorts of problems. We saw from the goal in the first half, here we see it again. Get the head on it again. They don't get the second ball this time, but the threat is constant.
Here's Harris. Schofield, good run. Beaten away by the legs of the goalkeeper, Lucas. Harris again, once more to Schofield. Harris too. Oh, Trotter was in there, he couldn't get a touch on it. Morrison blocked by Cuthbert. Millwall nearly there with the cushion of a second goal.
Two really good half chances there for Millwall.
Abdu, who hasn't scored since the opening day of the season in Southampton.
Well, Harris is instrumental in both these half chances. There's the ball played in, goes for the return again. And there, not offside, comes off the goalkeeper. And this time they get a little bit of luck, Swindon. But there's the one again. He's instrumental, takes some really good positions, and this is a terrific run, isn't it? Goes for the near post, nothing else on, and that is a decent save.
Another test for the well-organised Millwall defence. This time there is a header, and it's clutched out the air with Jean-Francois, the defender from Haiti.
Well, it's a long way out, isn't it? Anybody gets a touch in front of Ford, they're in trouble, but they're just slightly behind him. It's a decent header. Anybody gets a touch there, but luckily for them, goes straight through the gap. And comfortable for Ford in the end.
Abdu picks it up, tries to find Harris. Here's Morrison. Great run. Morrison couldn't finish it. Unlike him, the shot.
Well, does everything right, doesn't he? They all back off him, and his final shot, a weak one. He started taking some good positions up. 5 minutes ago, Pater went for an audacious shot when McGovern was in a lot of space on that right-hand side.
Oh, mistake by Robinson. Austin, big moment here for Swindon! Oh, and he's missed it! Charlie Austin lets Millwall and Paul Robinson in particular off the hook.
Well, they can't believe it, can they? The Swindon fans thought that was one each. And I'm sure the Millwall fans did as well. One mistake, that's all it takes. He's away with his pace. And you think, well, he's done the right thing. He's not even at the target. Makes his mind up. Goes for that. He's way, way wide. You have to do better than that. But one-on-one is the most difficult chance to take. You're thinking as a striker, what do I do? Do I curl it round him? Do I smash it low? You have to make your mind up. He seemed to, but the quality just wasn't there at that vital time.
How big a moment might that turn out to be? The brakes on here, led by Liam Trotter. He's got Harris to his left. Here he is. Harris looking to be clever and curl one. And it didn't look the worst effort either.
He can be clever. He knows exactly what he wanted to do here. It's about making your mind up quickly, and he does that. Just a check inside, sees that far corner, goes for it. Doesn't get enough bend on it, but again, it's his intelligence, the positions he gets into that can create that space and time for himself.
Both sides have used two substitutes. Just over 10 minutes remaining. Barron to swing one in here for Millwall. Goalkeeper's come and didn't win the header, and off the line by Cuthbert.
Well, I'm fed up of saying this. Don't understand why keepers need to come out every time and try and catch it when there's so many bodies around that box. And then there's another chance to see why. Look, he's got to come a long way. He just doesn't get it. You don't need to come. Let your defenders deal with that. Well, when you're 1-0 up, it's that tight. You're winning the game.
as a defence, I think the automatic thing is in your mind is to drop deeper, and that will encourage Swindon a little bit. You've got to be brave and try and keep that line.
Morrison still running, still a thorn in the flesh.
Well, he looks fit as a fiddle, doesn't he? Still prepared to get in the channels, do those yards. Now look at the concentration. Good first touch. Accelerates away, nothing else on. Again, backs himself.
Well, in these playoffs, Millwall kept a clean sheet in both legs against Huddersfield. So far, they're keeping a clean sheet today. That's over 4 hours of football. They just have to do it now for another 8 minutes, and they're in the Championship next season.
Speaks more use for the back four, but it's the whole team. They defend from the front.
Onside, Morrison. Harris dragging himself into the middle. Morrison still going. Couldn't quite finish it. Saved by Lucas and denied. And now it's Hackett. Drives it across. Comes off Derby, who didn't know where it had gone. It actually went for a corner.
Well, Morrison's involved in everything at the moment, isn't he? He's the one still full of running. When the ball's played, the assistant says, yeah, onside. Again, it's a tight one. Checks really well here, then toe pokes it with the outside of his right foot. Can't finish it.
It's down to seconds now, up towards Pericard. Ward tries to win it. Still, Swindon straining every sinew. Amankwa. Douglas couldn't get it. Austin! Oh, the goalkeeper just about claws it clear. What a nasty heart in the moment for Millwall that was.
Wasn't it just? They back off here. Good first touch. He slips at a vital moment. And look at Ford there. You think that's routine. Nerves. Know how close they are.
But there's still a Swindon corner. What drama here late on. Curled in away by Morrison. It wasn't a great corner. Cut up by the first defender, almost criminal, really. It's over! Millwall are back in the Championship! Last year's heartache turns to joy. Down on the Old Kent Road and in New Cross and in the Docklands, Rotherhithe, Wapping, they are celebrating along with 35,000 plus Millwall supporters here. It was desperate for them a year ago. Beaten, but this time they have made it. Promotion back to the second tier for Millwall.
Well, they certainly deserved it. First 45 minutes, I think they were superb. They set the stall out. They were brilliant without the ball, and they were good when they'd got it. And that man has played a big part, Harris. His intelligence and his use of the ball when he gets it has been quite outstanding at times.
You have to feel sorry for any side beaten in a playoff final to come so close, particularly Charlie Austin. He knows what a massive chance that was. He's had such a dream season coming into the Football League with all those goals, but today it was the other side of it. Yeah, what a moment for these players and for Millwall Football Club. You think of the famous names down the years who played for Millwall: Alex Stepney, Keith Weller, Harry Cripps, Millwall folk hero Derek Posse, Tony Cascarino, Teddy Sheringham, Tim Cahill, Keith Stevens, Terry Hurlock, Barry Kitchener, Eamon Dunphy. Well, these players will join those players. I think Harris was already a part of that folklore himself. And they'll remember, too, the job that Kenny Jackett, the manager, has done. 5th last year, 3rd this year, and they finished closest to the automatic promoted sides, and they are the side who this time have done it. Massive celebrations. They deserved it, didn't they, really, Gary?
Oh, without a doubt. From the first whistle, they were stronger right throughout the team. He got man of the match, but there were 11 stalwarts out there, and you need that on these occasions.
Nobody more fitting to pick up the trophy than today's goal-scoring hero, Paul Robinson, who has been really in on every chapter of Millwall's recent history. He was in tears last year with the Millwall players when it all ended so sadly and agonisingly for them. And here's something: the last 15 sides to be promoted from this division via the playoffs have stayed up the following season. Every team since Burnley in 1994. So maybe Millwall can make a bit of an impression in the Championship as
I would think so, on what I've seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the trophy and the glory.
Millwall are promoted. And let the celebrations begin down in southeast London.
Well, wins are contrived off solid foundations, and the foundations at the back of that Millwall team were rock solid today. Ward and Robinson, superb.
Now, these are moments for any footballer to treasure. They don't come around too often, particularly in the playoffs. They took the lead and they held on to it in rock-solid fashion, bar that one big chance for Charlie Austin. And he is enjoying it as much as the fans, maybe more.
Deserves every cheer he's getting. He played the 90 minutes. For 90 minutes he was always there, always a presence.
Well, Ken, you always one for bucking a few trends, a few hoodoos. You put your own personal playoff hoodoo to rest, and Millwall's as well, and six times, and eventually 6-time lucky for the Lions.
Yeah, it just shows you, on both counts, if you keep persevering, you get there. Millwall, as everybody's reminded me, haven't got a successful, playoff campaign yet, so it's great for us to be the first to do it. And, for me as a manager, that's my third playoff final, and, compared to the two defeats, it's a fantastic feeling.
Just talk us through the game. It was pretty nerve-wracking, wasn't it? At times, particularly after Robbo had scored, you could have, might have, should have, and that second goal wouldn't quite come, so it always left you on your nerves.
I felt first half we, deservedly in front and were the better side. Second half, Swindon came back at us very strongly, and I was thinking maybe we needed a second goal. We're probably looking at the second half, despite not having a lot of the play, we had the better chances on the break, but I'm pleased to say that at the end one was enough.
Right, Robbo, show us that trophy. It's been hard earned during the course of the campaign. Congratulations. How does this make up for last year? A cameo appearance as a lately returned from injured player, and now you've skippered the team, you've got the trophy, you're man of the match, and you scored the winner.
I know, yeah. Well, I like to think it's rewards in the end. I missed out on 2 major cup finals at this club through injury. It was a case of third time lucky today, and to lead the lads out here, to get promoted, but like you say, to win, to keep a clean sheet, to score the winner, I must have done something right. So, like I say, I'd like to think it's a reward for all those years of hard work and everything I've given, but more importantly, to lead this club back in the Championship is, it's just a dream come true, and I'm just proud for everyone associated with the club and all the fans. It's been excellent day.
What can I say? We've finally done it. We've won a playoff competition. That's 3 finals for me, 2 at Wembley and 1 at Cardiff, and I've been sat in the dressing room and been really disappointed. Today, it's put everything right. I'm so proud of the players, so proud of the club. The fans out there, they spurred us on. We were dead on our feet second half. We put such an effort in first half, the pitch zapped it out of us, but they got us through, as they have done all season.
Oh, it's massive. We've been striving for this since the gaffer came in, getting this safety and then obviously pushing. And last year we should have done it, and we didn't. We were standing here exactly the same place, and I was saying how down and gloomy we were. But what a difference this year! What a great feeling.
This is unbelievable, and I can't believe I was here a year ago winning the FA Trophy, and now I've just won the playoff and League One playoff, and absolutely fantastic. Enjoyed every minute of it, and kick on now. See you in 4 weeks and start all over again.
To be honest, it was a bit of a scrappy one, but I'll take it all the same. The corners come in, their players just flicked it at the near post, and to be honest, I'd like to say it was an excellent first touch, but in all honesty, it just sort of hit me. But I managed to react quickly to the rebound and just have time to slot it, just make sure I put it past the keeper, and I'll take that. You know, to keep 3 clean sheets in 3 playoffs games. You know, this season there's been a lot of goals in the playoffs, and you know, teams have gone a bit gung ho, but we stuck to what we're good at. You know, we've defended resolutely and worked hard for everything, and you know, we knew if we got in front that we fancied ourselves to keep that lead. And you know, even though I gave them one opportunity, apart from that, you know, I thought we were excellent all afternoon.
What a great feeling, and how was it out there in front of the Millwall fans at the final whistle?
Fantastic. If the stand edge wasn't there, I would have just carried on running, I think. I just didn't know when to stop. But it was a fantastic feeling, and I could never explain in words how it felt.
You know, I've got 2 beautiful girls at home, a gorgeous wife, but professionally on the football pitch, this is the best day. You know, I can't believe it's a dream come true, and to achieve that here, and like I say, the club I grew up at, it's absolutely everything.
You've got a testimonial game coming up in the summer. You've got 3 or 4 weeks to have a little reflection. Your career is a long way from over. You've still got 2 more years on your contract at Millwall. But when you sit back on a beach, wherever it is, you must reflect and think, boy, I'm a lucky fella.
Yes, I certainly will do, because I sat on the beach last season at the beginning of June with my family, and I was hugely disappointed and I couldn't relax, and it took me a good few days to wind down. This year I think I might wind down a little bit quicker, but last year I had to walk in that players' bar upstairs and see my son's face, and he didn't stop crying all evening. So today I can walk up there and hopefully he's got a big smile on his face.
I'm sure you'll allow yourself a couple of beers and put your feet up for maybe 2 or 3 days, but I understand with yourself and the chairman, the planning has already started and can now kick on for the championship next season.
Yeah, it will need to, but it's good planning. It's nice planning. It's nice to be able to do that with you know, something positive. We have to look very, very quickly at what we need, because you know, I've worked very hard to get out of League One as a manager, and Millwall as a club have worked hard, you know, over the last couple of seasons, and I've got to say, out of you know, the form over 2 years, we deserve it as well. But we haven't put all that in to come straight back down and go back without a whimper. You know, we want to go there and be competitive, and you know, that's our next challenge.
Looking to ply my trade at the highest level possible still, even at my age, and that's the championship. We look forward to next season. We've had a terrific season this year, and what we've got to do, carry this momentum into next year. It's a superb league, the championship. It really is some massive clubs in it, but we've got a bunch of boys in there, and there's a hell of a lot of them deserve to play in that championship, but there's no divine right, and you have to earn that right, and this season we've done that.
Can't wait, looking forward to it. You want to play against better teams, you want to pit yourself against better players, and that's what we've got to look forward to now for the next 5 weeks. It'd be great. Like I say, you know, I was there at the bad times when we got relegated, and to go back there now, I think, you know, we're an ambitious team. We've got an ambitious manager, and we want to progress and we want to improve, and the way to do that's to play against better teams at a high level, and that's our opportunity now, and we've got to make sure we make the most of it.
Perhaps for the first time in a long time, you'll actually be relishing, you'll be kicking your heels waiting to get back to pre-season.
We will be, that's it. You know, we've got just over 4 weeks off, and last year didn't seem like long at all. This year we'll take a well-earned break, we deserve it, but the fixtures will be out halfway through the summer, and then we're back to business.
And finally, you've been very, very praiseworthy of the fans during the course of the season. What a day for them.
Yeah, it is, and you know, I keep saying to the players that if you perform and bring those fans into play, it is like a 12th man, and it's true, and we did it today. You know, if you don't perform, they won't come into play. They're fantastic once you get it going, and it's a responsibility that the players have taken on board and taken well this year. And you know, in terms of support, it's just second to none. The amount of noise is fantastic. I know that was you know, a fantastic, well-attended game today, and rightly so. But you know, if you get 10,000 in at the Den, it feels like 20,000 when they're going, and you know, that's a terrific tool to have as a manager.
Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. Let 'em all come down to the Den. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. We'll only have to beat 'em again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we're called Millwall. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. Let 'em all come down to the Den. It's Saturday in Coldblow Lane, we've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine, all the time our families will bring. And as the Lions run on the pitch, everyone will sing. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. Let 'em all come down to the Den. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. We'll only have to beat 'em again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we're called Millwall. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. Let 'em all come down to the Den. It's Saturday in Coldblow Lane, we've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine, all the time our families will bring. And as the Lions run on the pitch, everyone will sing. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. Let 'em all come down to the Den. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. We'll only have to beat 'em again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we're called Millwall. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. Let 'em all come down to the Den. It's Saturday in Coldblow Lane, we've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine, all the time our families will bring. And as the Lions run on the pitch, everyone will sing. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. Let 'em all come down to the Den. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. We'll only have to beat 'em again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we're called Millwall. Let 'em come, let 'em come, let 'em come. Let 'em all come down to the Den. Ladies and gentlemen, the trophy and the glory goes to
Again, just taking you back perhaps to the day after the playoff final 2009 and the following days, really. Can you remember how you felt and what you thought, and then how you took the process through to begin to plan for the new season?
Yeah, my first thoughts were of disappointment of losing, and it hurts and it stings when you lose any game, but you lose a big game like we did against Scunthorpe. But after that, I didn't want to throw away the good work that we'd done. We'd had a very good season. We'd finished 5th. It was a great improvement on the year before. We'd got 82 points, and we got to a playoff final. So there's great strides. We'd had a good season and we had a lot to build on. I wanted to make sure that everybody at the club actually saw it as a stepping stone to where we want to go, and not necessarily a pinnacle that we were going to fall away from. And our start of our season, how we trained in pre-season, our overall attitude, and most importantly, the attitude of my players towards that next season was important. And they're the things that filled my thoughts, and mainly how we were going to build on what overall was a very good season, and make sure that we didn't let things fall away.
You'd already made one signing before the final. That was Steve Morrison, proved to be a key. But what was you thinking about how you would need to try and further strengthen the squad before the transfer window closed in August?
Whenever you come into a club, and I come into a club that at the time was 4th from bottom of League One, and it was the day we played my old club Swansea, funnily enough, and we drew that game at the Den. But it was the day that I agreed to come. Now, first off, what you have to do is get solid and competitive, and the first year, if you like, that's what we did. We were solid and competitive. Slightly limited in terms of goal scoring, slightly limited in terms of being able to play free-flowing football, I felt. And they were things that this season, this coming season, that I wanted to improve on. We needed more striking options. We just played at Wembley against Scunthorpe with Gary Alexander and Neil Harris, the only 2 recognised strikers in our squad. Now, both of them played 90 minutes that day. Both of them, played very well. But, there were no forwards on the bench that day, so we knew where we needed to improve. We knew, without losing anything from the previous season, what we wanted to do better. And I'm pleased to say then that Steve gave us a mobility and a goal scoring threat that, no disrespect to the other lads, but we didn't have. He took our forward line on, and after what I think is an unsettled start to his Millwall career, he made a big impact for us.
September, on the other hand, was possibly a bit of a worrying month. There was one excellent performance at home at the Den against Huddersfield, which, if my memory serves me, might well have been their first defeat. They started the season very well, but away from home you were struggling, and you didn't score in 5 of the 6 games in that month, losing to Barnet, Gillingham, Bristol Rovers, Leyton Orient. How worried were you at coming towards the end of that month by the lack of goals and obviously the away form in particular?
Yeah, the performances I don't think were very good. We did hit a height, I felt, against Huddersfield, beating them 3-1 and beating them quite comfortably. It was a very good day for us, but generally the performances weren't that encouraging. They certainly weren't of a nature that I had any sort of optimism that we would get promoted. And several injuries really hampered us. I mean, we played for quite some time without any centre halves really, and no disrespect to Jack Smith, but he did well. But the games you're talking about, he played centre half. I mean, we started off with a centre half pairing of Smith and Frampton, and both are recognised fullbacks and very good players. So we knew that we needed to start through the middle of the pitch and get stronger and get more solid. Now, some of that was waiting for people to come back, and the likes of Paul Robinson, after injuring his foot in pre-season, was just bad luck, it looks now. But on the back of missing half a season last year was quite a worry. You talk about worrying times, and it looked a worry for me to to have to lose my captain. Last season we played half a season without him, and we had Craig and Whitbread at centre half, and we did fantastic as a team to keep going and you know, do what we did without him. But I was certainly looking for him to come back and make a big impact, and you know, through that time, through September, you know, his injury was a worry, because you know, I worried for the future. We missed him at the time, but you know, I worried obviously for, you know, for the future. I'm pleased to say that, you know, he came through it, and but as a team, we needed to get stronger. We needed to get more solid through, you know, through the middle of the pitch, and in particular at the back, to give us a solid base. The goals didn't necessarily come, but you know, we weren't competitive enough and strong enough to start with, and you know, you can only go from one base to another, and that was where we needed to start.
Well, October started, I believe. I mean, it was when you were struggling to score goals, perhaps a Tranmere side who were really, really struggling to come to the Den, and you brought James Henry back in on loan. He got a hat-trick that day, and in a sense, I'm sure you'll look at lots of little turning points during the course of the season, but to score 5 in that game probably just gave everybody that little boost and that little confidence rush that they needed.
Well, you know, I've always got sort of, I know it sounds maybe big-headed, but I've always got confidence in myself that I can sort the side out and make the changes that are needed. And you know, we talked about getting solid through the middle, and the, you know, the forming of a good centre half pairing gives you a base to go off. That's all. And then going forward, to bring in some creativity, and a player that had done very well for us on loan previously in James Henry to come back. You know, I was very pleased to add James into the mix, and in terms of goal scoring and goals creating, he's a very, very prolific winger. You know, he has got end product. You see so many wingers that flatter to deceive. They catch the eye, they have skill, they have ability, but when you look at maybe a 10-game period and you see how many goals has he actually created and how many goals has he scored, sometimes they're negligible. James is the other way. You know, he has terrific end product and very good confidence in himself, and you know, I was pleased to add him into our mix.
Of course, you finished the month very strongly as well, because that was the Leeds United game and the first of the real big sides, apart from obviously we mentioned Huddersfield, that you'd beaten. And at that stage, I think everybody, you know, began to believe, well, look, okay, we've had a bit of a sticky time, but now we're right up there.
Well, sometimes in football you have to just hang in there, and you know, it's an ability to be able to do it. You just got to be tough and hang in there, and you know, that was one of them periods for us, because I had confidence in the people coming back. I had confidence in the character of the people coming back. You know, we've mentioned Paul Robinson, Tony Craig was in and out through injury, had a back injury at that time. Neil Harris was in and out. Now, I'm talking about people that can make a big difference to that dressing room and have the confidence in themselves that they can make an effect on the pitch as well. So I knew that within the treatment room, I mean, at one stage, we had 12 senior players fit, and they're 12 people that would have been competing for places as well. And it's very, very difficult if you have that amount. A dozen people out is a big chunk. So we hung in there through that period. We brought a few people in, and they needed time to settle, and Darren Ward was one of them. And with the right people coming in, and then a combination of people coming back, our side started to settle down, and we started to build some confidence, and we saw that although we hadn't been spectacular so far that season, we weren't too far away, and our ability to hang in there through that period was a feature of the season.
November was a strange month. A lot of cup ties involved there, Wimbledon and a couple of games against Staines, of course, but you got yourselves up into the top six again, and more or less maintained it. But perhaps another key defining moment was the 1st of December, the MK Dons game at the Den, 2-0 up, pulled back to 2-2, seemed to be 2 points being dropped at home, and then Steve Morrison popped up in injury time with that goal. He hadn't scored too many up to that point in spite of the contribution he'd been making, but that seemed to get him off and running, and of course the result was all important.
Yeah, it was, but some great games there at the Den this season, and that was one of them. You can look at Leeds United, Norwich, and MK Dons. games against competitors where we really did rise to the challenge, got late goals, and that particular game, quite frankly, could have gone either way, but we have an ability at the moment to score late goals, and it's one I want to hold on to. The last 20 minutes of every game are vital, and you get a lot of chances, and games swing one way or the other when people are tired. Now, our concentration and our fitness levels have to be high so that it swings our way. It's not a coincidence. It's something that you have to work on, and something that, as a club, you have to be aware of. And that particular day was a great example, because to beat one of our rivals, was a great feeling.
A very dramatic one. A game you deserved to win, but other circumstances conspired to prevent that. But it's Charlton, of course, the 4-4 draw. As a fan, as somebody watching the game, it was pulsating and exciting. As a manager, I can probably count 2 or 3 more of the grey hairs that you picked up that day.
Yeah, but first and foremost, it was a very good performance, and performances look after results, and particularly in mid-season, if you're playing well and you can keep that going, results will follow, even if they don't on one individual day. And similarly, the other way, if you're playing average or poorly and you sneak the odd result, over the course of 10 games, you won't get the 6, 7, 8 wins that you need to be competing at the top end of the table. So the Charlton performance was very, very encouraging, I felt. We didn't get the best of decisions. Jimmy Abdou got sent off, and that was rescinded on the Monday morning. 1 or 2 penalty appeals, but quite frankly as well, we could have lost that game, because it was only a late Danny Schofield goal that got us a draw. So, I was very encouraged by the performance that day. It could have been 3 points instead of 1, but, compared to other away performances, it gave me a lot to actually build on. And, certain people coming into the side, and the actual mix of players and partnership of players was encouraging.
The home form was what was sustaining you, keeping you there or thereabouts in and around the top 6. When you come to the end of the year and look forward to the second half of the campaign, what did you see as the realistic targets, the realistic aims that could be achieved?
Yeah, we're definitely looking to get promoted. It looked more realistic to be in the top 6 than the top 2 at that time, but if somebody can get 20 points away from you in half a season, there's no reason why you can't get 20 points back. Now, I was at Swansea, and we lost to Scunthorpe late in February, and that put them 10 points ahead of us, and we still caught them. And both sides actually went up from League 2 to League 1 automatically that year. But and I've never forgot that. And all of the media people were saying, well, end of February, that's them away from you now, you won't catch them. And as I said, we did catch them. So big turnarounds are possible. The picture changes very, very quickly. All you have to do is concentrate on your own team and get the equation right out on that pitch. That's that's all you have to do. Now it's a hard thing to do, but it's what you must concentrate on as a manager. So at that particular period of the season, realistically, it looked like it would. We had a chance of the top 6, and we were competing for the top 6. It didn't look like we were competing for the top 2, but you just never know. You need to just win games of football, and if you can do that, and that's hard enough, but if you can do that, anything's possible.
You made one, I think everybody would agree, key signing. It was almost a talismanic signing, wasn't it, in bringing Liam Trotter in from Ipswich Town initially, I think, for a month, and then ultimately on loan to the end of the season.
Yeah, very pleased with Liam and what he's done for us. And he played in the playoff final the previous year for Scunthorpe. He'd come on as a substitute, and after that sort of spell with Scunthorpe, for which they were obviously promoted to the Championship, he went back to Ipswich, played about the first dozen games in the Championship. Didn't get selected after that. Ipswich were, had a poor start, so I was pleased to take him. and to work with him, because I think he's got a good blend of presence and calmness on the ball, and he did seem to bring out the best of Jimmy Abdou. Jimmy Abdou's form the second half of the season when Liam was around was a lot better than when he was with other partners, and I've got to say, by the end, the Abdou-Trotter partnership was a key to our success.
The other thought that was clearly in your mind, you already reminded us that in the previous final you had Neil Harris and Gary Alexander and no other fit available forwards. You wanted to make sure that wasn't the case again, and you brought in other loan players, John Abika, who didn't feature majorly but might have done, but also Sean Batt from Peterborough.
Yeah, the hardest position to get and the most expensive position to get are centre forwards, and if you're not careful, you end up having to take very young players or players with maybe some ability but perhaps not the best character. You really have to do your homework on centre forwards, and I didn't want to get caught out having no options, because centre forwards change all of the time, and if you look at most of the substitutions in the Sunday paper, people sub their forwards, whether it's to just bring fresh legs to hold on to a game, or whether it's to make a substitution to come back into it. And we needed more options. John was a young player, had been a youth player at Spurs, who gave us good options. Sean was different, coming from Peterborough reserves. He mainly had a non-league background, and we saw a rawness in him that would go very well with Steve Morrison, and that proved to be the case. Although if you look back at Sean's contribution, he's very rarely played 90 minutes for us. He's dovetailed well with the likes of Neil Harris and Gary Alexander, and has been a compliment to them as well, where maybe playing against two centre forwards, let's say mainly our front pairing has been Morrison and Harris. Suddenly to put Batt on there gives the centre halves something different to think about, and that complement has been a key option for us.
Well, those 2 months, January and February, you just gradually, if unspectacularly, began to claw your way back very much in towards the promotion pack, and it sort of laid the groundwork for March, which was an excellent month, and really propelled you from playoff hopefuls to maybe even having an outside opportunity of finishing in the top two.
Yeah, it definitely did, and we looked like, whether it was first or second, or whether it was perhaps winning the playoffs, the setup of the team and the form of the team just gave me confidence that we could get promoted this year. And when I talk earlier about performances do look after results, and the performances through March gave me the encouragement that it could be a great end to the season.
And that spring period, beating Norwich City at home, beating Charlton Athletic at home, beating Leeds away, ultimately, your confidence, you say, in yourself as a manager, you have confidence, but you know how fragile it is with players, and you could see that they were beginning to believe that they were the equal, if not better than anybody else in the division at that stage.
Well, we had a nice balance between physical presence and being able to defend and keep clean sheets, but what the likes of Trotter and Schofield as well brought us extra ability in terms of football, and we went up to Leeds and we controlled the ball and controlled the play, and the sort of thing that you're aspiring to improve on this year. That period had, we were strong and competitive enough to get a foothold in the game, but then after that, we could play the type of football that could, frustrate the opposition, keep the ball away from them, undoubtedly create chances and score goals that can turn a draw into maybe a comfortable win. So very good period, and the balance of the team was very good, with the likes of, as I said, Danny Schofield and that contributing well, Scott Barron coming out of perhaps being a bit part player or a squad player or a player that had been in and out of the team, to some big contributions, particularly going forward in terms of creating goals.
So you're going into April, the Leeds result if memory serves me correctly, it got you to within 3 points of them, I think, and they were really stuttering. And you would have hoped in April that you could have kicked on, but that was the first month for perhaps 3 or 4 where just a tad of inconsistency began to creep in. Okay, Brentford played very well to take 2 points off you at the Den, but they were below par displays at Yeovil and at Huddersfield just at the time when you really wanted that consistency to be maintained.
Yeah, we lost 1 or 2 players through injury. Alan Dunn went out of the team, and Jack Smith came in with no games in 3 months, and it took Jack a couple of games to get back to the form that he was in earlier in the season, and he did achieve that, but as I said, it took him a couple of games. There were 1 or 2 people who I felt at that time were running on empty as well, necessarily carrying injuries, but were injuries waiting to happen. Liam Trotter, probably his longest consistent run of games, was feeling his hamstrings on an almost daily basis, and you knew that I knew that sooner or later he would need a spell out, or he would break down. Chris Hackett was similar with a back, so the team looked like it lacked energy. It needed some changes, definitely, and you do have those periods, unfortunately, where it just looked as if it had gone from full of energy and sparkling to suddenly a few people were running on empty, and that was the case. And during that, again, you need to stick in there in those times and work and make sure that the people coming in are up to speed and are ready. But slight bit of a transitional period through April.
So you went into quite a surreal final day, in which 5 teams, any one of 5 teams could have gone up. You weren't in pole position any longer, but it was absolutely vital that, should the opportunity arise, that your team hadn't passed it up.
Yeah, and we responded well after a disappointing performance at Tranmere. We played really well at home to Swindon. We did, and that encouraged me and gave me a good feeling. I didn't really think that Bristol Rovers would get anything at Leeds United. I thought Leeds United would win, and they were in the driving seat. So I thought that was favourite, but you never know in football, and you have to keep up your part of the bargain and see where it falls. I wasn't surprised though by the end of the game to hear that Leeds had won and had beat us by a point to second place. I was though encouraged by the performance and the reaction of the players after a poor display at Tranmere. We played very well at Swindon, at home to Swindon.
So you finished the season in 3rd spot. It's deja vu. You're into the lottery of the playoffs. You've got a 1 in 4 chance of winning promotion. Your record in the playoffs, the club's record in the playoffs, wasn't the best. What was your feeling about Huddersfield Town in the semi-final?
Well, I thought that Huddersfield, with the money they've spent, if you look at Southampton probably being the outstanding team in terms of transfer fees, Huddersfield follow them a close second, and they'd invested heavily in transfer fees in their forward line. I didn't think necessarily that they would be able to hold us at the back, or they were outstanding, but if we could stop their front 4, if we could stop Drinkwater in central midfield, I think we could negate them. Then I always had confidence that we could be able to score goals against them. Having the second game was an advantage to me, to be able to come back to the Den to do whatever we needed to do, and I knew the type of atmosphere, the confidence the players had back at the Den would be a key one. So for us to be able to go up to the Gale Farm and do a job and then bring them back to the Den was always the game plan. The game away at Huddersfield was incredibly frustrating. I didn't, as a manager, want to start getting myself into trouble or dragging the club through the mud, because it's an image that we're trying to get away from. At Millwall now, we want to be competitive, and we want to play good, entertaining, attacking football, and excite our crowd. But we don't want to be involved in FA hearings or disciplinary procedures. So you know, after the Huddersfield game, you know, we all had to hold our tongue, to be honest with you, because, you know, it was a poor display by the referee, and there were two very poor decisions. And, you know, when you put the DVD on after, and the Sky people are, you know, quite clearly calling both of them penalties, you know, there was a sense of injustice by myself. But, you know, on the other hand, after the game, I knew that there's nothing we could do about it. It is something that happens in football. You do tend to think that it only happens to you at the time, but it's not true. It happens right the way through, and it is part of football that you have to take. I wrote a strong letter to, you know, everyone concerned, you know, about that particular performance. What I didn't want to do was start to, you know, moan in the media, because away from all of that, I needed to get my mind and the players' mind on the fact that if we beat Huddersfield at home, we could go to Wembley. And, you know, after the game, that was all we could affect and all we could do about. So, you know, I got the players onto that very, very quickly, straight after the game, not to be moaning about the penalty decisions. Scott Barron, you know, did an interview straight after the game and did very well. And you know, summed up the situation, and for us to look forward and say, right, we win a home game, we're at Wembley, and that's all we have to concentrate on. We did that, and again, you know, fair play to the players. They produced a terrific performance on the day to take us through the semi-final.
You tried to keep it very low key in the build-up to the playoff final this time, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, and you know, we a lot of the. Razzmatazz had gone the year before. You know, we all knew what it felt like to go there and lose, and it just wasn't something we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure we focused on winning, and you know, the suits went out the window. We went there in our track suits like we did to every other game. We didn't visit Wembley in the week of it and have a look around. We'd been there the year before, and we knew what it was all about. It was a game of football, and it was a game of football that we were going to win. And the fact that the game was actually 3 o'clock on a Saturday gave us a chance to try to keep it as normal a week as possible in terms of our routine and our structure. And again, you know, it had been a successful season for us. We'd finished third in the league. We've got 85 points, so that routine had seen us through, you know, a long period of time and seen us be successful. I, as the manager, wanted to keep us in that routine and to make sure that the players focused on going there and winning.
And what about your team's performance on the day and your feelings and reaction afterwards?
Yeah, it was a great day. It really was, and you know, it was a special day, a real special day. One that, you know, I don't think I've ever had in my life or my career, certainly my professional career. You know, it was a fantastic day. The amount of noise the Millwall supporters make, you know, the sheer joy afterwards of, you know, best part of 40,000 people, you know, was a great feeling. So, you know, it truly was a day to remember. There's no doubt about that. When I watched the DVD again the second time, I felt we were worthy winners and we could have won the game by more. It didn't feel like that at the time because, you know, for the most part we were 1-0 up. It felt on the day that Swindon had, you know, a strong part of the second half. And possession-wise they did, but we had the chances in the second half. We had the better chances in the second half to go further ahead. And, you know, by the end of the game, you know, everything I judge a game on, you know, we were deserved winners. And again, you know, after that Tranmere game, it was a very good performance by the players for us to go through 2 games with Huddersfield and then 1 with Swindon, to win 2 and to draw 1 with no goals against, you know, was a big achievement after the disappointment of the Tranmere game, and, you know, shows the strength of character that we have in the dressing room.
What is the realistic aim and ambition of Millwall Football Club at the higher level next season?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I mean, what you say publicly and what you say privately are 2 different things. We don't want to make, you know, wild predictions about what we're going to do, because undoubtedly our opponents will use it against us. You know, that's so you don't need to give them any extra incentive to make predictions that can help your opponents. But internally we've had a good 2 seasons, and I'm looking as a manager not to throw that away. I'm looking to build on that and go forward. I see the Championship as a fantastic league, and one as a manager I think I've worked hard to get in, and you know I don't want to give away this opportunity. I'm excited by it. I know that you know the group of players that we've got have worked very hard to get there, and you know they'll want to not just make up the numbers in there. They'll want to contribute. They'll want to go forward. They'll want to do very well. You know, we'll be setting out, you know, certain targets at the start of the year. Certainly in terms of each individual game, we'll be going out to win each individual game, whether that be, you know, Leicester away or Notts Forest away, or whoever it happens to be at home. You know, we'll be setting out to win every game, but you know certainly there'll be a difference of our sort of public perception, but our internal perception will be to win. And you know it's a habit we've worked hard to develop, and it's a habit that you know myself as a manager I don't want to lose.